Buckle up, folks. This podcast is all about diving into the good, the bad, and the ugly of our bodily, spiritual, and mental experiences. If you are not prepared to challenge your assumptions, laugh at yourself, laugh at me, or maybe even shed a tear or two, then you might want to look elsewhere. But if you're ready to get real, get honest, and get a little weird, then welcome to the Just Chrissy podcast. I'm your host, Chrissy McCammon. Good morning, friends. This is Chrissy, the host of Just Chrissy and owner of Rooted in Wellness. Today, we are on day 5 of our health reset. And we're going to do this for 30 days, short 15-minute clips. So this limits my ability to be able to share a lot of information. But what I hope to do every day is share enough information with you that it piques your curiosity about that subject enough to go do some of your own research. Honestly, all the information you need is out there. You just have to know where to find it. You have to know who to trust. I always will tend to side with the person that's willing to risk everything to tell the truth. I am not a doctor. I am not licensed to treat, prescribe, diagnose, do anything like that. However, I am allowed to give you things to be curious about and to look into. And I am allowed to give you what would seem to be common sense advice to balancing your body and putting you in a position for it to function properly. Interestingly enough, cholesterol is a huge subject and money-making industry today. And there's a lot of conversation about it because honestly, they scare people into thinking if you don't do this, you are going to die. Now, cholesterol is actually our friend, even though we've been brainwashed to think that it's not. It is our friend, and as we get older, our body will make more and more of it. And I'm going to share some links in the notes of this podcast so you can go just start a little bit of your own research. But as you get older, you need cholesterol for making hormones, for healing wounds. Your brain uses a lot of cholesterol. So, as you get older, like for instance, I am postmenopausal. So because there's a demand on my body to create hormones like estrogen and progesterone and DHEA and all that, testosterone, but my body isn't because I'm postmenopausal, my cholesterol is going to be a little bit higher. And did you know, like back in 1970, the acceptable cholesterol was 300. You can look this up yourself. It's just people don't have the information. So understand that it is your friend. When you cut yourself, your cholesterol is what that waxy, yellowish substance is that goes to that wound to start the healing process. Picture it being like a little boat in your blood, and it's carrying all the nutrients to your body that your body needs. Your cholesterol does that job. It's super important, yet here we are suppressing it. I do find this interesting though, because you start looking at like Statista, statista.com. Lipitor, which is one of the number one sellers, was introduced in 1997. At the end of 2022, it has made $172 billion with a B, billion dollars. I looked also at the global just pharmaceutical market in general, and it's estimated at the end of 2023 they made 1.6 trillion with a T dollars. That was a 100 billion with a B increase compared to 1 year before it. So, I mean, there's a lot of incentive to get as many people as possible on statins. An interesting thing, too, that I found in working with my clients that many times when doctors put their clients on a statin, they don't even tell them that there's going to be an issue with CoQ10. If you are taking a statin, cholesterol medication, you should also be taking a CoQ10 supplement, which I'll put a link to the one I like to use in the notes. So for decades, we've been told that it is the enemy. Cholesterol is the enemy. It clogs our arteries. It causes heart attacks. You must aggressively attack it. And they give you a prescription for something like Lipitor to try and knock the numbers down so that you can stay healthy. I will say this time and time and time again. Our body knows what to do when we put it in the right environment. My personal belief is I really don't think it is about your health. I don't. I think it's about making a lot of money. It's so essential. Cholesterol is needed in your body. So for instance, your body needs cholesterol to build cell membranes, produce hormones like estrogen, testosterone, and cortisol. Your vitamin D, which we've talked about. That is created underneath the skin with a form of cholesterol. Your brain function, it protects neurons. It is vital to the building blocks of life, yet for some reason we have to lower it. Now listen, it is true, there is clogging that happens in the arteries, but there's other way, like that's coming from something else, which we'll talk about more. So anyway, so the statins, we talked about being this billion-dollar cash cow. It robs your brain and your body of what it needs to thrive. But your brain is about 60% fat, and cholesterol is essential for the brain health. They slash your brain's ability to function. They even are showing studies that have linked statins to Alzheimer's disease, dementia, memory loss, and cognitive decline. We talked about the CoQ10, and it's crucial for energy production in every cell of your body. Without it, your heart weakens, your muscles ache, your body ages faster. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. And I'll tell you, a loved one of mine, they had put on a statin, and every evening after he would take the statin, he would lay in bed and just writhe in pain. And so I started paying attention, like, what is he doing? What is he doing before he gets this wreathing pain? Well, we figured out that he was taking it was Lipitor. He was taking that, and it was causing all this muscle pain. So you need to, when you get a pharmaceutical, like, look at the side effects and take them seriously. There has got to be thousands and thousands of reports of that instance, of that side effect, for them to actually label it onto the label. So believe me, they're going to try and keep everything off that thing that they can. So if it's on that label, you need to take it seriously. I think we think, oh, well, it's approved by the FDA, so that means it's okay. No. That you have to be your own advocate. You have to be your own doctor. The threshold for the high cholesterol, that has been lowered like over and over and over repeatedly. And before 1984, the medical community, they weren't even obsessed with cholesterol. And then there came this flood of studies funded by the makers of statins. And then suddenly the LDL was the bad cholesterol and was enemy number one. And in 1990, the high LDL threshold was like 240. By 2004, it plummeted to 200. Well, it's because they had these new guidelines out there that were drafted by a panel of like 8 or 9 members who had financial ties to the companies. So you have to be your own doctor. So the cholesterol is not what's killing you, which I kind of hinted at a minute ago. It is the inflammation, chronic inflammation in the body. So let's say you're someone who doesn't get any exercise, doesn't eat well, doesn't drink water, drinks soda, eats processed foods, smokes, drinks a lot of alcohol, like everything you could possibly do against healthy, like, yes, you need to be concerned because you are going to get this clogging up in your arteries. But if you're someone who gets sunshine, drinks water, exercises, eats 80 to 90% of the time healthy, stays away from processed foods, eats organic, does all the good things, like, you got to weigh all that out. You are an individual. You're a bio individual. Like, you are your own body. You have your own set of environments and situations that are different from everybody else's. And that's why I say you're your own doctor. You have to look at your life and say, okay, what am I doing? Is this my situation? Is this my situation? What do I need to change? And do the research and look at the risk for yourself, and weigh out the risk versus the benefits. Like, what is helpful? What can you do? What will you do? And what can you afford to do? That sort of thing. Anyway, the inflammation, it damages your arteries, and cholesterol, it's a healer. It'll rush in like a Band-Aid to repair them. Cholesterol is the response to the problem. It is always going to heal something. So if it's high, or if the numbers are not making sense, and there is like this equation that you can do. Tracy Straub does a great job of teaching that. I think Dr. Living Good does a good job at teaching that. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who else teaches about it. But there are equations you can do to figure out, like, if you're having hormone issues or if it's an insulin issue. You have to look at all those numbers. So it's always going in there as a response to the problem, not the problem itself. Instead of addressing that root cause, though, like our poor diet, the amount of stress, we've talked about this, inflammation, they make cholesterol the issue, and it's not really the issue. Meanwhile, the real culprits of the heart disease is, you ready? Get your pen and paper ready. Sugar. You need to lower the sugar. Where you should have 1 sugar cube in your body at a time, we have like 50 every day. Lower the sugar. Seed oils, ultra processed foods. If we continue to have these type of foods and lifestyle behaviors, we are going to have issues. So the results of these cholesterol eyes is that we have millions of people who suffer from statin-induced side effects like muscle pain, fatigue, brain fog, and worse. And the overprescription of the statins has turned cholesterol into a scapegoat, meaning we blame that for our bad decisions. We blame it so instead of us taking responsibility personally and saying, you know what, I'm drinking too many sodas, I'm smoking, I'm not exercising, I'm not getting sun, I'm not drinking water. Oh, it's definitely the cholesterol is the issue. No, the cholesterol is a response. And the other thing is too, like, once you start getting healthy, you learn to trust your body. Your body lets you know when you've had too much. Once you've gotten away from all of that stuff, your body lets you know. We're going to talk about that too, like how we grow microbes in our gut, and our body craves what we're giving it. So if you're giving it a bunch of processed stuff, you're going to crave that. So the things I guess that you should be asking yourself is, what is your inflammation levels? What are things that you can change? Educate yourself about what cholesterol actually is doing in your body, the real, truthful role, not what we're being sold. If your doctor prescribes one for you, ask for alternatives and talk about and have a true discussion with the doctor about what the risks are. I have heard so many times where that discussion is not happening anymore, and it's supposed to be by law. Focus on the inflammation, and that's getting the refined foods, the sugar, like focus on getting the inflammation out of your body, which is one of the things that I really focus on when you come to me. And if you're in the cleanse, in the detox with me right now, that's what you're doing. You're getting this inflammation out so that your body can actually function well. Eat anti-inflammatory foods like fruits and vegetables. Avoid sugar and seed oils. Manage your stress. And then you do need to supplement your deficiencies. Usually there's 2 things going on: deficiency and toxicity. And then rebuild your trust. As you're doing this, you will rebuild the trust in your body that your body knows what it's supposed to do. This cholesterol myth, it really has robbed us of health, clarity, and trust. And it like, stop buying into what everybody else says and do your own research. So I hope this is enough to pique your interest. I will try and put some links. There are a couple books out there. One is The Great Cholesterol Myth, and it's by Johnny Jonny Bowden, or Bowden, Bowden, and Stephen Sinatra. Like I said, Tracy Straub does a great teaching on that. Dr. Livingood has done it. There are many. You can go out and even just look up Eric Berg on YouTube. I guarantee he has videos on this to educate yourself and start to dig a little deeper than what you've been told. Okay. Our 15 minutes is way over. I'm almost to 16 minutes. Sorry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go apply this information and change your life. Have a great day, guys.